Okay, so this is the seventh problem in the mock. So you have a sequence of integers of even length. Okay, and you have to determine if it is left heavy, right heavy, or balanced. So what do we mean by these three terms? You have to look at the sum of the terms in the left half of the sequence and the sum of the terms in the right half of the sequence. So let's take an example from the test case area itself. So you have something like this. So okay, so sequence like this. So this sequence has even length because there are six elements, six terms in the sequence. So the left half of the sequence is going to be 1, 2, 3, and the right half of the sequence is going to be 4, 5, 6. So you have to now find out the sum of these two halves. So the sum of this half is going to be 3 plus 2, 5 plus 1, 6. Okay. And this half is going to be 6 plus 4, 10 plus 5, 15. Okay. So 15 and 6. So since the sum of the left half, the right half is greater than the sum of the left half, we call this right heavy. Okay. If it had happened the other way, where the sum of the left half is bigger than the right half, it is left heavy, and if the two sums are equal, it is balanced. Okay. So we have to accept the sequence as input and print if it's left heavy, right heavy, or balanced. Okay. So we have to be careful. It is a left hyphen heavy, right hyphen heavy. Okay. So that, and everything else is in lowercase. So we have to stick to all these things. And yeah, so first things first, we have to accept a sequence of comma separated integers as input. So how do we process this? As usual, our split function or split method for strings comes in handy. So accept the input, split it based on comma as the delimiter. You will end up with a list of strings. Okay, store it in L. Now what can we do? We can maybe, let's say, create a new list, new empty list, call it P, and for each element in L, for each element in L, convert that element, it is currently a string, so convert it into an integer and append it to P. Okay, now P has a list of strings, sorry, a list of integers. So in this case, P will be what? For this particular test case, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we know that length of P is going to give us the number of elements in P, and we also know that this is an even number. Okay. So now the question is, how do we extract the left half? How do we extract the right half? Okay. So these are two sub lists, right? So the left half is what? The left half will be 1, 2, 3. Okay. This will be the left half. And the right half of the list will be 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now we have to extract this. How do we do that? If you know that the sequence has an even number of terms, how can we extract the left half and right half? So notice that we have n by 2. Okay, that's going to be a proper integer, right? It's not going to be some kind of a fractional number. It's going to be an integer because n is even. So what will n by 2 be? In this case, it will be 3. Okay, and so n by 2, n floor division 2. So why have I used floor division? So that's because I want an integer. I want an integer as the result. So I want the number of elements in the first half. So that will be n by 2. In this case, 3. Okay, so in this case, this is equal to 3. So notice what P colon 3 is. What is P colon 3? Start with the first element, start from index 0 and go all the way up till index 2. So 0, 1, 2. Okay, don't include P of 3. So 0, 1, 2. So P colon 3 will be what? It will be this list 1, 2, 3. Okay, now what about 4? What is the index of 4? 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, index of 4 is 3. So P of 3 colon is nothing but 4, 5, 6. Okay, so what have we obtained? By knowing that n by 2 is 3, n floor division 2 is 3, and by using these two as the end point and beginning point of two slices, we have managed to obtain the first half and the second half of the sequence. All that you need to do is now sum the elements in the first half, second half, check if they are, which one is greater, which one is lesser, and if they are equal, you have to return balanced. All that you have to do. Okay. So with I'll not delete it for now. Let me allow this to remain here. Okay. Instead, I will move this part alone here. So n equal to length of p, left sum, I'll call this left sum, is equal to p of, so n by 2, instead of, I don't want to keep tagging n by 2 along, but it's okay. Let me use n by 2 itself. So this is colon n floor division 2, right? So this is first half. Now this is a list. This is not yet a sum. This is a list. So how do I obtain the sum of a list of numbers? I just use the built-in function sum. That will give me the left sum. What is the right sum? So first I get the list, which is n floor division 2 colon. This will give me the right half of the list. I just sum this list. Now that I have the left sum and right sum, I can finish the code. This is quite easy, right? So if left sum is greater than the right sum, then you have to print, right? You have to print left heavy. Else if the left sum is less than the right sum, then it means that this is right heavy. Okay. In all other situations, what does it mean? The only thing that remains is balanced, right? So print balanced. So let's go ahead and run this. Okay, 5 out of 5 private tests have passed. Okay, so what I'll do is now I'll delete the whole thing and just quickly redo the code. Okay, so you have input, which is a sequence of comma separated integers, but it's a string that is accepted as input. So split it based on comma as the delimiter. It will give you a list of strings. Convert these strings into an integer and store them in the list p. So for each element in L, convert it into an integer. So that is how you do it, and then you append it to the list p. So now we have a list of integers. So the list of integers are there with you. So what you need to do is you just get hold of the length of the list, which is length of p. Now the first half is going to be represented by this slice, which is, you start from the beginning, so you don't need to explicitly mention 0. So everything from the beginning till n floor division 2, this is the first half of the list. Okay, so the sum of all these elements, I'm going to call it left sum, and right sum is going to be, it looks very similar, but slicing changes. So you start from n colon 2 and go to the end of the sequence. Now if left sum is greater than right sum, you print left heavy. Else if left sum is less than the right sum, you print right heavy. And finally, else you print balanced. Okay, so that's the, let's wait just to make sure whatever you've written is correct. Let's run it one final time. Okay, it's taking forever, but yeah. So 5 out of 5 private tests have passed, and that's the solution to this mock.